observer mode in the original Age of Mythology, I think. That came with the expansion, so yeah, that can't really happen. Here we go then. At the bottom we have a spawn of AoL, and it's Recon on the right side who has just now casted for Golden Mine, and sees a pretty nice zebras here, but he went with the ox cart a bit to the left and bottom for the chickens, but of course he will switch to the right. And does he see some extra hunt so far? No, he just went a bit further to see if there's some interesting hunt so that he could go for it, and had a bit slightly safer hunt later on, but no, there wasn't anything interesting. And as long as his house will be in the right place, oh yeah, this is it. This is exactly something he was looking for. If it possibly was somewhere forward, but well, it isn't, and it's right between him and his teammate Iron Maiden, who is right now playing a pocket. Also Gaz is Dwarven Gold Mine, so that's the same for both Thors, and has seen the zebras as well, so that's pretty much okay. Back gold, and this seems like to be just a lone gazelle. I'm not exactly sure if this is going to be a whole herd. Probably not, so yeah, that's that. And well, how's it scouting at the back? Right now he's not interested in offensive scouting as a pocket. You can see on the minimap that on the other hand Recon is going for an offensive one, and he found some patch of food there, so let's have a look there in just a moment. Nice herd of gazelles, that's exactly what Iron Maiden was looking for. And what was the food here? Okay, so he actually found the extra food source that he needed, the extra giraffes and zebras, and it's not really far behind, so I'm thinking he should be able to gather this before the advances into the next age. There's some first relic here in the middle, that's 5% building crush armor. Well, that's awesome, although I'm kind of thinking in this aggressive matchup it's not going to be all that super important, but well, helps nonetheless. The last to have a look at from AoL is the best player, Berserker, who is almost through his favorite zebras and the start, and well, nice gold at the forefront, another relic, cheaper siege weapons, alright, maybe if we go into Mythic, but he will be interested in this, and that's pretty cool. With the extra hyenas here, that's, well, it's not really a threat to the willies per se, but it would be a bit more extra food if he can go there. Yep, he's already switching to the food source. And something interesting at the back, a lot of gold. That's a lot of safe gold. Iron Maiden moving into back hunt as well. And extra monkeys, gazelles, and well, that's that for the left side of the map. On the right side we have a spawn of dots. Rangers is at the top as the only non-Norse in this game, and he's already getting food somewhere else, and the somewhere else is where exactly? He has zebras here. He's just an oracle looking around, seeing a nice herd of gazelles and a bit of monkeys, but he is right now going for a lot of zebras right there. So that they're saying VFF fungi. Okay, so that's going to be pretty interesting fighting there for some of the AoLs. Otherwise, the map around the Rangers' base is kind of okayish. A lot of gold actually. That's kind of non-standard, but seems to be mirrored with the left side on the minimap with his opponent Berserker. J4 is playing pocket for dots, and he's already finished a pretty important wall because this will protect these fillies against potential raids here very nicely. And I'm thinking there should be another wall around like here, possibly to protect this gold and the same protection for the willies as this for J4, but well, let's see. But in the meantime, he's dropping a temple which seems to signal something like 440, 450 advance, which is not really the fastest, but I think it's kind of okay for a pocket. It shouldn't be all that problematic. Besides, just a few goats there, nice TCs. And well, last one, Brighead is already advancing 10% into Freya. His base is kind of okay, it seems. Well, this is pretty nicely protective, but it would have been a whole lot better in the forefront, not at the back. And right now he's very forwardish with his hunt. And the second hunt is also very forward, so he might be in a bit of a problems if he is heavily raided, because I'm not exactly sure if there's going to be some hunt in the back here, just a goal. And I wouldn't be expecting much more than possibly one patch of something, which might not be enough. Alright then, 60% into Freya. 86% for Recon already. How's it looking for Iron Maiden? 67 and Berserker 74 into Forseti. So that's pretty fast advances, to be honest. And well, not even the Oranos from DOT's Rangers is going to be faster than AoL. So right now it seems like pretty fast advances for all three AoLs, and let's see if that will actually pay off for them. Well, the Valkyrie is already going forefront. And well, is he going to be in any luck? Doesn't seem so. He's just going kind of the wrong way, but he might discover this wall and actually stop it from being built. And yes, she actually goes around, and Brigade is not stupid and is right now running away with Ulfsark. And yeah, there's just a change of shifts here into the Hersir. That's going to be much better protection against the Valkyrie. At the left, on the same side, Rangers is already scouting very nicely. Iron Maiden trying to prepare some kind of walls together with Berserker. So doing the same. A bit of raiding here, not problem. And players just now saying that they are probably going into double into Recon, which is... Okay, so this is the first forest fire on Brighead. And the same idea was actually going on, I think, from DOTS, so that's what the FF actually means. And well, Valkyrie here, is she going to be in the right spot? I'm not really thinking so right now. She finds pretty much the worst spot, being captured by some of the Xerxers, but I'm looking at this Valkyrie at the bottom from Brighead, and that's definitely looking for some of the woods here. This Xerxer has already picked a relic, cheaper trolls, centaurs, and archers. Okay, especially for the trolls it's useful, but for that it would be best for Forseti, and that means for Berserker. Alright, so we are looking for the wood line, and this is one forest fire, and where's gonna go the second one? Where's gonna go the second one? Probably here, and that's going to be actually a whole lot of woods gone. And he will be left with just the third one. So far it seems like Recon is, yeah, second forest fire right here. So that's that done. So a bit of a downtime him. And how's it looking at the middle? Well, pretty nice walling from J4 is... Yeah, this is the wall that we were mentioning earlier. It's protecting him quite nicely. This is for better towers. Not yet needed, but might be quite helpful. And well, first large battle brewing on in Rangers' base, and he's right now being doubled because nobody is helping him, and the spy that was nicely placed by Berserker has allowed him to find what's going on here. So that's a bit of an idle time here, and not really successful attack from AoLs. And how's it looking at the bottom though? Well, pretty much similar thing is happening from J4 and Brigade, although I kinda thinking they have much better armies here. And yeah, Recon kinda knows that something is up and he needs to retreat all the villies. And he maybe will not lose anything, but the Ox card seems to be kinda going down. And this is a very strong raid, and with the way through... But, yeah, towers will be up, so that's not really going to be much of a problem anymore, and he should be reasonably safe in his base. But at the same time, he just lost a very crucial hunting spot, and he doesn't have anything at the back, just a bit of hyenas and one gazelle. So yeah, that's not really all that enough. Back in the middle of Dot's bases, just a bit raiding going on from Iron Maiden. Although that's not going to be all that successful, because as you can see, J4 together with Rangers are not going anywhere with their base armies, but J4 just researched medium raiders. And he is definitely the first here, so he will be having quite some advantage here against his opponents if he picks the right fights, and he seems to be going for that, although, yeah, he kinda is out of luck, because Iron Maiden is very nicely walled, and Recon right now is just trying to make the same thing here happen. Just now going into medium raiders as well. And well, this little fight is not going to go for J4's side very well. Another attempt at raid here with Berserker, who is bringing the relic to the fight. That's for cheaper siege weapons costs. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Well, is this going to be a dead Willy? He's definitely hoping for some nice mythical spawns, which he does get now. And yep, this results in a dead Willy, which is kind of important at this stage of the game, because it's still pretty early and it's going to hit Rangers pretty hard, although at the same time he's not losing any army whatsoever. So yeah, maybe it's not going to be all that bad for him. Bit of raiding in J4's base, who has just now out-microed his opponent Iron Maiden very nicely, killing his raiding party. But at the bottom, there's a huge still blob from Brighead trying to find some innocent willies to kill. These are a bit idling here because they just ran out of gold. That was the start in a 3000 gold mine. And just now switching somewhere else. Just as the home army of Recon has returned back to home. On the left side, this is kind of important because Berserker is moving on more or less safe hand, but at the same time, Rangers has pretty nice point of view here, and he will know that a lot of villies are here, and that's going to be a pretty good spot for Raiden. And he's already going there, although he won't be having any luck with getting through unless he gets through the walls, but that's not going to be easy because of all these towers for pretty much all the players all around the game right now. Iron Maiden is not giving up, and especially when there's still a way through in J4's base. Otherwise, the wall seems to be slowly finishing, at least from Brighead, although he definitely should finish this, because if he doesn't, he's running a huge risk of getting raided pretty badly here. Most of the battles are right now happening in AoL's base, where Iron Maiden right now dropping Dwarven Armory, which will result in a Bragi pretty soon. But otherwise, he's just finding a bit of release. But will he take the fight? He might want to, but he won't be able to. Because yeah, he can't really fight against all this. In the middle though, Rangers was trying to raid Berserker or Iron Maiden, but doesn't have enough army because both Berserker and Iron Maiden are with majority of their armies at home. But here I see something interesting. Iron Maiden fighting J4's gold release. Okay, so good job on that. And he's trying to out-micro them somehow, so that he can kill at least a few of those. And that's Berserker first actually into Bragi. And he's taking second TC as well. And second TC is being captured also by Brighead, who already has it. Rangers has second TC as well. And well, I was just looking here at the minimap, and Recon is not far behind. So far it seems like the game is pretty much equal. A bit of a battle in the middle here, where Brighead has lost quite a lot of army to the double from Recon and Berserker. But right now, double is brewing on by dots on the left side. So is this army going to be enough to make for some trouble for maybe Berserker? He doesn't have the army for sure to defend against this, so they could potentially go right into the bases and potentially attack some of those villies like these hoodies or some such. But they don't seem interested right now, and Iron Maiden is just waiting possibly for his own heroic to actually have some better upgrades and, well, not lose units needlessly. So yeah, this is a bit of a battle here, and just as it goes, I'm gonna have a look at the right side, where Recon has amassed quite a decent army of raiding cavalry, although he is right now fighting at a pretty bad spot, right under the TC fire of Brighead and his army. Well, with the extra shockwave here, he better run back to his home base. On the top, Iron Maiden is trying to do something similar, and he is able to stop Rangers from being in Palace, which is pretty important because Rangers was trying to secure this gold mine, which is right now not happening, and he is forced to build a palace a bit farther behind the wall, and well, J4 is a bit late to the fun, although the army here is quite strong. In the middle then seems to be something going on, especially from Brigade and J4, who are just having quite a ton of raiding cavalry together with a bit of extra army. Well, Recon at the same time is trying to build a bit of a beachhead so that he doesn't have all that far behind or that far to actually go with his units from his base, but he does need some extra help, and this seems like a pretty good spot for Brigade and J4 to attack, because Iron Maiden's whole army is right now raiding J4, just as the flare says. So this fight right now is pretty cool. Recon advancing into Bragi, and will he call the flaming weapons at this point? Right now with J4 going home into his base, he doesn't have to, and actually Berserker is joining the fun together with J4, and well, that's a lot of raiding, stopping J4 from taking extra TC, killing an extra Willy here probably from Rangers, and something else somewhere Well, Rangers is trying to help his teammate J4, who is right now booming pretty hard, and I think with 50% into Bragi, he will be switching into Mythic pretty soon after this attack, after this advance, and going into his favorite Ragnarok. So here we have Berserker casting flaming weapons, because he wants to take the TC down. Fortunately, it's kind of the wrong one. He needed to take this one down to prevent the Bragi. But, well, the damage will be dealt, because there's a lot of willies, and J4 is not running. Not exactly sure why, but this will cost him, and this will weaken his Ragnarok, or at least push it a bit farther. Pretty daring from Berserker, who is actually trying to build a temple here, so that he can somehow control this part of this map. Not exactly sure if that's going to work out for him, but well, this battle is so far going all the way for a Berserker, because dots are not engaging with the flaming weapons, which is quite reasonable at this point. But once these are out, not exactly sure if Berserker will be at the right spot at the right time. Right now he has lost quite a lot of army, just reduced to this mountain giant. And well, here we have Nidhogg from Berserker, who is just advancing to hell, which is pretty fast, and Rickon is joining in the fun. Well, hello, so that's going to be probably under flaming weapons, I would guess. We have quite a lot of them here, and another TC down for dots, so Brigade will be reduced to just 2. If you look at the minimap, Rangers is like now not really interested in this battle, he's just trying to protect a bit of a Raiden at the top, and he is getting into the AoL's bases on the left, so I'm just gonna have a quick look in there. How much army is that? Not really much, and that's a huge amount of mythical units, so Birdie's not going to do anything, and this army either. So the most important battle right now is going on in those bases, and it will all depend if actually Berserker somehow, together with Recon, can secure the base here. So far they are not doing half bad, and with the dragon that's actually a pretty huge help, because it seems like dots actually have no way of dealing with that, because they are not having mythic, and Rangers is the only one with some serious threat to that, like the Arcus or the Birdies especially. And another TC down, so Brick had reduced to just 1, and this attack seems to be pretty well thought through and pretty strong. So J4 is trying to put a stop to all this nonsense. He has pretty good upgrades. I was looking for Recon. The same, and last one, Berserker. He doesn't have any human units. Here he has just a baseline and Mythical Age from Rangers right now. So Furata Vortex will be pretty important, because he will be able to switch wherever he pleases, and that's going to be quite strategically important. So will at least Berserker take this TC down as well? If he does, that's going to be important, because that's going to stop or delay the Balder here. And he's not giving up, but the Mountain Giant is almost dead. He's almost dead, but he kills it. He kills the TC just in the nick of time. And Brigade is at 0 TCs without going Balder. That was the plan here all along. So pretty good attack here on the right, with Berserker losing everything, but I think it was well worth it. And if he captures this TC, and that's going to be super close as well. 600, 200, oh, that's going to be so close. I mean, the piggy should stop it. Yeah, he won't be able to, but if he was, that would have been very, very big. But he's still building some extra army here, and at the same time going full on onto the left side into Rangers. So he's switching the sides. He was just interested in killing Brighead. Well, with that task done, he is switching to the left and trying to kill Rangers. At the same time, Iron Maiden is still doing a pretty good job trying to raid his enemies, preventing this TC from coming up. Well, also preventing some gold gathering, I would say, but otherwise, J4 is popped. He's not so far advanced into Mythic. He's at 1 TCs, but, well, does he actually have some upgrades? He has almost all of them, almost the baseline in the attack and some pierce damage, so that's not really all of them at all. But he's not advancing even into Mythic here, so still the window opportunity is very much open for AoLs to take the game. That's quite a lot of willies. Well, 28 willies. And will they be found by Recon? So far they aren't, but right now he sees this, and he has quite a lot of army here. So he might be able to slaughter all, all of this, and with the piggies here, yeah, this is pretty bad. And right now you can see that Brigade is actually switching or trying to separate this army, but this is... oh wow, this is absolutely horrible. This is absolutely horrible, and since he was going for Balder and hoping for Ragnarok, yeah, you know what this means. You know what this means. This means a serious setback for Dots. And with Iron Maiden joining the fun as well, this is going to put Brighead like half a game back, and his Ragnarok will be, yeah, pretty bad at this point. But it's not seeing, or rather seeming like it will really matter all that, or because Brighead is going to be killed yet again, and is it going to be Balder killed for the second time? Come on. 91, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, yes it is, 5% from finish. Second time Brigade has lost this mythic, almost done, and well, that's kind of discouraging right now. And how's it looking at here? Well, Iron Maiden trying to kill the Titan, which is, I think, kind of the last Hail Mary from Dots, as if that doesn't go up, I think it's pretty much a done deal, but they are not giving up at all. And are still hoping that they can salvage this game somehow. Rangers will be able to defend it against the few raiders from Iron Maiden. And you can see that Berserker has been forced back a bit, but he is just biding his time at this point. And with 4 TCs, his army should be pretty good all along. J4 just cast this Ragnarok at the end of times, but yeah, since Brigade was already pretty much done, and TCs were being gathered by his opponents, like Berserker and such, even the Ragnarok wasn't going to be enough, and this is recognized, and well, the game goes into AoL's favor, and Dots lose 1-0. Well, pretty good job right there. So let's have a look at the post game here. Well, Recon has the total score best. He was playing pretty well. I think all 3 AoLs were actually playing pretty well, and from Dots I would say that Brigade was the best until he was utterly annihilated by all his enemies, pretty much altogether. Rangers, yeah, he wasn't really all that much under attack, so no wonder here. Advance is pretty much okay from most of the players here. And well, Brighead, he wanted the mythic so bad, but 2 times was denied. And I'm just going to look at the civilians. Yeah, this is the rate at near the end. He had like 65 willies and dropped 20. Yeah, he lost absolutely everything in that huge raid there. He had too many willies at one spot, and when you're trying to go Ragnarok, yeah, that bites you quite a lot.